Welcome to the Minesweeper project on VBTeacher.com. Now we're continuing to work on our build board routine, and so far we have created a series of rows and columns of mine cells and gotten the board so that it resizes itself correctly. Now we have to do some manipulations with the content of the mine cells, and notice that we forgot one little item here. As we create the mine cells for each row and column, we do need a way to refer to those in a very compact way, and the way that we decided to do that at the beginning of the program, back here, minefield, right there, was to store each of the cells in its appropriate place in the array called minefield. So now inside this loop, as we create one cell, we're going to store it in the column and row in the array that corresponds. So minefield, and this is the row, so row col equals C. C is the cell that we've just created. A little bit later we're going to have to add an event handler right here, but for now that's good. Next, we would like to add a loop in here again that will generate random mine locations. And so the first thing we'll do there is to use the Visual Studio's random class, and so dim rx as new random. And this is a routine that has some very nice random number routines. We're going to loop through this once for each desired mine, and the number of mines that we want to use here is the mine count. So we're going to loop through once for each mine count. So for I as integer equals 1 to mine count. And then inside there we're going to have to generate a random x and a random y in the correct range, but we need to have these dim x as integer equals 0. Dim y as integer equals 0, and then we're going to have to loop through and do this is going to be a do loop until in a minute. And so what we're going to do inside is generate an x that is a rx next. Next has a minimum and maximum value, and the minimum is 0 and the maximum is board calls. Now, the highest number we have in our array is board calls -1, but it turns out that this next routine, the first argument is the low limit, and the second argument is 1 higher than the upper limit. Then the y then would be rx.next from 0 to board rows. And we'll loop until the opposite, or not, minefield yx, again the y is the up and down, so it's the row, and the column is the x, has mine. So in other words, we'll generate a random x and a random y somewhere on the board, and then we will look at this, and if it has a mine, then this will be true, and this will be not, that will be false. So if it's false, it'll go around again, and if it's true, then we hit a cell that does not have a mine, and so now we can assign it. So we'll say minefield yx has mine equals true. Now just for testing, we're going to add another line here that it changes that cell so that you can see the mine right here, and so we'll say minefield yx a view and tell it to turn on the mine view. And so there we have that, and this line will be removed in a minute. So let's run this and see if it looks good. And there we have it. Now what we're going to do with our little smiley face is that when you lose and you want to generate a new board, basically the new board, the build board, will be connected to this button. So we can do that now. We'll just go to our designer and double click on the button, and simply down here put build board, and now we can test that. When we hit the run button, it rebuilds the form. So there we have that. And now we should see a new randomization here every time we hit that. So, looking good. Now there's one more item here that I think we do need to pay some attention to, and that's back up here. The panel mines, I got this line in. If you didn't get this in, I think maybe I didn't have this on the previous video, this clears out the mines from the panel mine container, the panel, and gets rid of them. So be sure to add this panel mine.controls.clear, and I think we left that out earlier. If not, then that needs to be added now. Okay, so we have that, and that's looking very good. Okay, our next task will be to, once the mines are in place on the board, is to go through and fill out the number for every cell that doesn't have a mine, whether it's a 0 neighbors or 1 neighbor or 2 neighbors, and that will be our next task. So thanks for programming along with you, and we will see you on the next piece.